Okay. SOS. That's Morse code. If you don't know Morse code, and most people don't these days, that possibly could be the universe calling you. Are you hearing? Have you ever felt called to do something? You'll never be more on purpose than if you're feeling a calling and following that calling. But what happens if it's not the right calling? What if it's a series of callings to get you the original calling, the one you're supposed to do? It's confusing, isn't it? We'll talk about that today and can clarify a little bit with a rule that I came up with just for myself probably 40 years ago that works. It just works. It's simple to help clarify things. It is a daily boost from motivationtomove.com, the positive boost you need every single day. Because life's going to get in the way. It's just going to happen just when you expect to go do what you want to do. Something's going to get to be a problem. Even if that problem is you, about 90% of all stuff that becomes a problem is self-inflicted. Have you noticed? It is, because you're the boss of you. You can do what you want to do. Wait a second, Scott. Are you saying that when I set a goal and decide to go after what I want, that I can change my mind? Yeah, actually, I'm saying you do all the time. I'm going to work out 5 days this week and really, really get strong and thin. I'm going to stay on my diet every day this week. Hey, Scott, you want to go out to lunch? Yeah, it's okay. Come on, I worked out really hard this week. Let's go ahead and have some lunch. Why not? Double cheeseburger at Red Robin. Heck, double cheeseburger at Red Robin. That's boring stuff. If you've ever been to Red Robin, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, my name is Scott Smith, founder, chief motivating officer here at motivationtomove.com. Welcome to the fun that we can have. Because, okay, real close, come here for just a second, okay? There's some of you listening to me going, what the hell? So here's the thing. Y'all take being happy too serious. You do. It blows my mind. This has gone on for 20 years now, how serious people think about being happy. It should be easier. It should be more fun. And that's why I do the things I do the way I do them. I try to have fun with it and try to interpret a few things between the lines. If you listen between the lines, the nuggets, as I like to say, you might laugh a little bit, you might smile, you might get mad at me. But you will be moved in a direction that I want to move you. Just a little bit. And that direction I want to move you is a place of happiness. So if you're too serious, if you're grumpy today, you're like, oh, come on, Scott, give me this stuff. Just make me happy. It's a process. Hang on for the ride. Chill out just a little bit. Let's have some fun today, okay? Because we're going to talk about interpreting that calling. Have you felt called to do something? Now, when I say calling, I'm not putting any religious connotation or anything on it. It's just that voice in your head, if it's only that simple. And that voice has got to come from somewhere, right? Oh, I'm not saying where it comes from, but it does come from someplace. I'll let you figure that part out. But interpreting your calling is something that's kind of difficult. So the universe is whispering. Let's call it the universe. It's whispering. It's nudging you to move in a certain direction. A lot of people say, listen, what are you called to do? And you're like, how the hell do I know? There's a lot of stuff going on inside my brain. I'm called to do a lot of things. It's not the calling, it's all the calls. Okay, before I go on, I'm going to admit to you right now, I am not an expert in the universe or in the works of our life or how it works in our life. I know a lot about it. I've studied a lot about it. But the bottom line is it's really way above my pay grade. So I know a lot about it. But to me, it's kind of like the magic of gravity is like, cool, that's enough to blow my mind. I know technically you can figure out how gravity works, right? You can, but really can you? Come on, it's kind of a weird thing. And the only secret, you saw the movie The Secret, the only secret I know is that, the only one I've ever figured out is that you are in charge of getting what you want in your life. Yes, I know. Everybody has a plan. I believe that. I think you're put on this planet for a reason. I think you're walking your path, and you have to figure out that while you're here. But how you do it is going to be up to you. That's your free will. Okay, that out of the way. What if the universe is speaking to you, or God, whichever you want to call it, a calling, and compelling you to get your ass off the sofa and do what you say you want to do? That's a big deal. That's kind of my biggest calling for being here today. I want to see if I, somehow, some way, can get you to move your butt off the sticky, Florida, humidity-filled air that makes a real slickery, stick to the sofa kind of feeling. I want to see if I can get you to move off that sofa and do what you said you want to do. You know, the thing you said you want to do last year or the year before, the year before that, and you still haven't done it, and you're wondering why? I want to see if I can get you to do it. Why won't you do it? So many years ago, I was in the habit of listening to those voices in my head. Yeah, I know. The callings. And in the early years, I would hear people say, Scott, listen, what's your heart say? What do you hear inside yourself? You got to follow that. Go after that. And I would. And it didn't work out that well. It did a lot, but it didn't work out well. Lots of times I find myself in the middle of doing things. I wondered, how the hell did I get here? Had a lot of false starts, a lot of good starts too. Don't get me wrong. But it didn't take long to realize that those messages I was hearing were not black and white. Now, sometimes it was just wisdom. It was just growing in experience, learning to interpret the thoughts in my head. And that's what makes it so darn confusing. But eventually I figured out, okay, well, I got some wisdom, I think. I have some knowledge, I think. I've done pretty well, I think. And I kind of know when something pops in my head, whether it's like ignore that one or go after the other thing. Are you the same way? My guess is you probably are. But what do you do when the calling comes? Because if you reach a certain point in life, you're probably thinking, okay, what am I called to do? It's confusing. Mindlessly following those callings, trying to interpret them, having a dream, wondering if it's just a dream or if it's real. Should you follow through? Are you hallucinating again? Did you have too much wine last night? Come on, listen, I'll talk the truth here, right? Everybody does it. One day I had a thought. I eventually began to call it my 180-degree rule. I still do. I use it every single day. It never doesn't get used. Maybe I'm not supposed to do what I'm hearing. Maybe I'm stuck in my thinking. The universe is giving me, is giving me more of what I'm focused on. Maybe that's what's going on. That was the key. You've heard you get what you focus on, right? That's a basic rule in life. If you keep doing exactly what you've been doing, then why would you expect to get something else? So sometimes you're getting this calling that's telling you that, wait a second, just keep doing what you're doing. That's what you've been focused on. I'm just going to give you more. The universe says, yes, you obviously like doing what you're doing. I'm just going to give you more of it. Go ahead, stay in all the trouble you want to stay in. So it made sense to me that whatever I focused on would linger in my brain until I questioned it from a different angle. And that's when I did begin to do the 180-degree rule. And it's exactly what you think it is. I would spin it around. So these days, whenever a wild, crazy thought pops in my head, it's a calling. It feels I get the goosebumps that go up my back sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning. Go, ooh, that's cool. The question is, maybe it means I should go the other direction. Now in life, I will tell you, if you follow the herd of people, just those 8 billion other people living on the planet right now, if you just look around you, I know we're all following everybody else. We're all going the same direction, and it's not a good one. You'll be much more successful if you simply look at the way everybody's going and just go the other way. That's a basic rule. I learned that a long time ago too. However, when you get the calling inside your head, everything changes. It'll get easier for you when you actually look at it and decide maybe it's pulling you in a direction of what you want to do, or maybe it's telling you, no, don't do that. It's just what you've been focusing on. Yesterday or Monday, we talked about the show about a woman getting a divorce and saying, I don't want my husband. I said, I don't want what my ex-husband used to do. I want what my new man or my new woman will do. I want the good stuff. Well, the problem is it's a very loud whisper in your head about what you won't want to do, and it's taking over the stuff you do want to do. So the bottom line is this. Your life become more balanced. It'll become more calm when you trust but verify. You've heard that before. Ronald Reagan, I think, made that famous years ago. Instead of chasing the dreams that just kind of pop into your head and go, I feel called to do this. Focusing on adjusting what's happening till you get it. Maybe you just stop for just a second and you say, maybe this calling I'm feeling right now is actually telling me to go the other direction. And verify it and look at it and say, because I promise you, when you begin to go the other direction, when you begin to get rid of 80% of what's already in your life and what you think you need to be doing, when you begin to do that, you'll start to hear exactly what you need to do. So maybe what you're hearing is actually in the reverse of what you think it is. I know it's a strange concept. Or is it? I don't know. Now that voice is implanted in your head. So today, as you go through your day, what I want you to do is when you hear something that comes in your brain, a little thinking that you should be doing something, just pause and think. Is it really telling me to go the other direction? And if so, great. How do I do that? And open up your mind for the directions of where you want to be going. You might be surprised what happens when you learn to trust that and interpret that. All right, tomorrow, one of the most powerful things that I do on a regular basis, and almost all my clients do on an extremely regular basis because I never let up on it. It's the How Do I Feel strategy session. I started this thing years and years ago. It's one of the core tenets of what I teach around here, and it works effectively. It's all about taking control of your life. It's simple to do if you're willing to do it, and I will tell you how to do it on tomorrow's show. Meet me at Facebook, dailyboostpodcast.com/Facebook, Daily Boost Premium. Dailyboostpremium.com is another option for you as well.